All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 2 of the Monday Blues. And surprisingly, it's a bit more of a relaxed vibe, irrespective of the shit performance that Carlton decided to put out at the MCG today. Again, a very, very pitiful performance, but I think it was what we were all kind of expecting, which is probably the sad part in today's performance. But we'll quickly introduce everyone again. Now, last week's video was a bit different. Now, I thought people were in the positions of what the recording was in, and it obviously wasn't the case. So I'll call your names out and just give the camera a wave if you don't mind. So kicking it off with big boy Carl. How are you, buddy?
What's going on, fellas?
Andy.
How's it going?
Moose.
G'day.
Excellent. And the newest member to the podcast, and hopefully a regular moving forward, Georgey.
Good, Mal. Thank you, gents. Great work on the first episode. I tuned in whilst in Bali, and it got me through that Saturday night loss.
Welcome, Georgie.
Thanks,
Welcome
boys.
to the depressing session, or otherwise known as the Monday Blues. Now, I can't recall the scoreline. Whatever it was, the whole game, Collingwood managed to keep us at about an arm's length, which is very, very depressing. Because I personally don't think Collingwood played overly great. They've had better games throughout the year, and at times, for probably a bit more than about 50% of the time, I felt like they were toying with us. What do you guys think?
Anyone?
I think the game was lost in the first quarter.
What was that, Georgie?
It was a loss in the first quarter. I think, as you said, at arm's length. Like when you concede, a 5-goal lead, and I think they kept it, crept up to 44 or whatnot, and then they just maintained that. So no use, getting those junk time goals and whatnot. But I think the game was won and lost in the first, if not the second quarter.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a 5-goal quarter to the Pies in the first quarter, and then it was a 5-goal quarter again in the second. So I think by halftime the game was well and truly done. Again, throughout the whole week, the Carlton Football Club copped it in the media, and again this week will dominate the airwaves once again. And I don't know, man. I just. Andy, I think you and I were talking about this. It's come a point in time where it's like, is it really the players, or is it our game plan? Is the game plan fit for the players that we have on this list? What are your thoughts on that?
When you mentioned the game plan to me during the game, I said to you, bold of you to assume that we even had a game plan. It looks like we're completely lost. It looks like we're just so deep in nothingness that the players don't seem to care. Even if there is a game plan, they just don't care for it. They don't know that if there's a game plan. I mean, obviously there's going to be a game plan, but I just think it's a very, very bad game plan, or the players just aren't switched on enough to get into the game plan.
Would you agree that the game plan is now get the ball, boot it, or attack? Or our attacking game plan is to use not the corridor but the wings, and then hope that one of Charlie or Harry Mackay mark it in the forward line, because apparently we don't have anyone else in the forward line that we can go to. It's only Charlie and it's only Harry Mackay. There's no one else.
We had more in our forward line.
Darcy Moore was good.
Oh,
He was killed it in our forward line.
Yeah. I think we kicked him more than anyone else in our forward line.
Just
I think
straight
he was just smart enough. He was just smart enough to just know what we were going to do. And 9 times out of 10, he was just sitting in that little spot and just would take I don't know if you'd call it a contested mark. obviously he did take a fair few contested marks. I think he hit a record and whatnot, but intercept marks. But they just kept picking it to him.
Yeah, I think Carlton tonight made Darcy Moore look like the best key defender on the planet. He could jump codes at this stage and become one of the best defenders of all time in any code, in any sporting code. He could become a key back, a fullback in fucking in soccer for the Red Devils in Manchester, and he would become the best of the best. Honestly, a 16-year-old defender from a Div 3 team could come in and know exactly what Carlton's going to do. We have become that bloody predictable in our attacking game plan. It's not even funny.
It takes me back to under 10s footy, and I was saying this in the car. And you just and it's under 10s, and you'd go, don't kick it to the big guy, or keep it away from number 10, or whatever it was. And it's like, I don't know, maybe Bossy Cole didn't say anything about it. Maybe Bossy kept saying, keep kicking it to freaking Mackay and Kerno and just hope that they'll come over the top or something. I don't know. That's what it appeared to be. But
You could see it playing out, right? So after the fourth or the fifth intercept mark, you think maybe you might lower your eyes and do something a little bit different. But no, let's give him another 5 or 6 intercept marks. So every inside 50 entry, as you said, very predictable. They're going to chop it off. They got second man to the contest, and it's either we don't find space in the forward line, and then even when we do, even when we might even have a crack at goal, where have we heard this story before, boys? 7 goals, 15. GWS, 9 goals, 20. So even when we do have a crack, inaccuracy costs us.
But it makes you think, do we have a game plan though? Because all we seem to do is get it and kick. Is that the game plan?
I think Andy said it, the lost, right? So lost, I put confused to that as well, from top to bottom in the club. It's the tangible loss and confusion in the team. We give you an example. We kick out of fullback. You see, side gets it, might give it a Doherty, might give it to Young, and you can actually feel the tangible stress and confusion, and the crowd starts to get rolled up and whatnot, because it's like a gamble. Every kick out of defence is like a gamble. So for me, is that system? Is that what's going on? Like we work so hard for such little reward.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't think we can blame the defensive six in our team either. I think they do a fantastic job week in, week out. They're under a stress load unlike any other defensive backline within the AFL.
That's because that's because our midfielders, they're one-way runners. They don't help defensively. We constantly give up the easiest center clearance goals because our mids are just standing there, bro. Or they just all out run forward when then the opposition mids just go the other way. And we've got no defensive mindset in our midfield.
Yeah.
So
it's further, Andy. You said it as well, Sard and Doherty. They just go one way. At no point do I see him come back and give a top out or call out someone. They just go forward and whip off out the ball. So we're missing the mids going back, and then Sard and Doherty who are playing in the half back. So how many defense players do we actually have?
I think spread across the field, we have probably the lowest on-field leadership as a team. Not targeting the captain or vice captain, but on-field leadership as a team in comparison to the other teams. Like, I don't see, as you said, you don't see, players tracking back for each other, communicating. It's the on-field leadership, and whether that's, instilling that, whether that's recruiting that in the off-season, I don't really see it. I don't know. And it's not now. It's like 2 decades of that. The confusion about the leadership, going back to Mark Murphy being captain and Cade Simpson taking team talks instead of Mark Murphy, or going even back further. It's just the on-field leadership has always been an issue in this team.
It was
I wonder if the players have just given up though. Is that what it is? They've just
It certainly felt like that tonight. I don't think any of the players out there had any inkling of confidence for what the game plan is. There was like you look at Collingwood and the game plan they played. They played shit tonight. They did not have a good game. They did not have a good game. They made that many mistakes. They had that many turnovers, right? that if it was a better side, it would have been a 1 goal, maybe 2 goal game. But we couldn't capitalize. I don't know.
There's so
I don't
much.
think Collingwood ever got out of second gear tonight.
No, they didn't.
They were in first.
At the end of the day, footy is all about being in front at the end of the game. Once that final scoring goes, whether you're up by a point or 50 points, as long as you're in front. Collingwood got their lead, and then we were just.
I think they were happy to sit back and let us have a crack. They were happy to sit back and let us, take some risk of it. And we still probably couldn't capitalise. And that's when the accuracy came through. But as you said, Mal, they didn't play they didn't play their best footy. If you look at their games across the year, that was probably one of their more average performances.
Yeah, if they pull that kind of a performance in finals, they're gonna get thumped.
They didn't need to, though. They didn't need to.
No, they didn't need to. And what makes it even worse? Is I get home, I'm already pissed off. I haven't eaten. I'm hungry, right? And the first thing that comes up on my phone is Steele Sidebottom saying that he shouldn't say this, but he couldn't help himself but laugh when he was when the ball kept being re-delivered back into Moore's direction. Man,
because we are a fucking laughing stock.
Honestly, if the Carlton
From the
Football
way
Club
we fucking play,
You've been waiting for this.
play the fucking game, to the way the club is fucking ran by whoever the fuck is in charge, we are a laughing stock, bro. People laugh at us. We are banter FC. There is nothing solid about our football club. The fans aren't even solid, bro. The fans aren't solid. The fans, we lose 5 games, we've got to sack the coach. All right, fair enough. There's an argument there for that. But the same fans will never hold Sam Walsh accountable, ever, because he's their fucking love child. The bloke, all right, fair enough. He done his foot, he done his back, we got him back. Bro, if you're on the field, you should be able to kick a fucking ball 25 metres and hit a target. And these players, bro, all their disposal efficiencies are all in the high 70s or high 80s because they fucking handball. But their kicking efficiency will be in the fucking mud. They can't hit targets, bro. Basic fucking skill errors, man. We're constantly kicking to the opposition. We're kicking it at players' feet. And then we wonder why we're under constant... Bro, the opposition literally lets us just kick it. They kick back while we just... kick it 15 times along the boundary. Yeah. Eventually, we're going to turn it over, and then they're just all out attack. So by the time the opposition starts to attack, we're too tired because we've tried to run to make 15 meters of ground, but we can't run defensively now because we're wrecked. But and this is like we're just idiots in the fucking stand. What is Voss doing? What are the assistants doing? What are the leaders doing on the ground to sort this out? It's we're not getting better at it. We're getting worse. So like something has to give, and it's unfortunately it'll probably have to be the coach, because that's what Carlton do. Instead of sticking out with a coach and bro, if you want to get rid of Voss, whatever, bro. Like I'm not even going to argue against it anymore because the evidence is there with the game plan, lack of game plan, whatever. But our first instinct is to sack the coach. Bro, we've been through fucking 15 coaches in 10 years. Yeah. Like, when do we say, all right, maybe the players need to be held accountable? Maybe these players are directly responsible for Bolton, for Teague, and now for Voss. That would be 3 coaches that this playing league needs to be held accountable for. Has to be. Yeah. Just have to get that off my chest, man.
Well,
Good shot, Andy.
You know what the moment in this particular game was for me when we say laughing stock, and it hurt, actually hurt, right? And you heard the opposition fans pissing themselves laughing, and this is where we should have a bit more on the field leadership for someone to tell Jesse Motlop, when you're lining up from 45 or 50 metres out, which is just inside the 50, and he decides, I want to do a check side. Whatever it's 45. Now, that is a very low percentage. So if you're having a set shot, Harry showed it. He went around, done a couple of drop punts, got him through. Now Jesse probably would struggle maybe to get that drop punt 45, 50 on a drop punt. But no, let's do a check side, which is a low percentage kick, especially from that distance. I don't know whether he's trying to get in the highlights reel. I'm not sure what's going on, but that's like someone should have fucking told him when they saw him lining up for that and holding the ball that way. Tell him, drop, punt. What are you doing?
What happens to the days? What happens to the days when you get drags for that? Like it happened two times last week, I think, and again today. Like surely someone, he's a young player, come up to him and say, "Listen, this is what we're about. This is what." It just shows that we're not about anything. Just
but
they
we've always been a soft club.
The North Melbourne coach last year got sacked because he lost it at his players, bro. It was all over the media when he tracked it at his players. If a coach can't hold his players accountable for the bullshit they put out on the field, who's going to hold them accountable?
No one can. That's right.
So it's just, yeah, bro. I'm a fucking 20-year-old. I'm 50 meters out. No one's going to tell me off. If I want to kick a banana from 40, 50 meters out, I'm just going to do it.
Yeah.
well,
And then what happens, bro? He misses, and instead of one of the leaders coming through, giving him a smack across the head or grabbing him by the shirt and saying, bro, fucking kick a drop punt. Nah, bro, well done. Nice try. Good on you, bro. Get him next time, Tiger.
It shouldn't take have to get to the coach, like you say, to expose this. It should be nipped in the butt on the ground. Player comes up to him, drags him aside. A, B, C, D. This is what we're about, and we move on.
Do you think
but it's not happening because it's happening week in, week out, week in, week out.
Do you think Luke Hodge would have allowed that?
You
Okay.
see, you know what else
A lot of
was?
people would know that.
Absolutely not.
You know what else? I'm not picking on Jesse in any way, shape, or form, but what absolutely, like what I saw off the ball was, I think it was in the third quarter, it might have been Andy, I was telling you, Jamie Elliott, I think it might have Nick Newman or Akers, just, off the ball after a contest. He goes down, Jesse not locked, sort of comes to remonstrate walking, doesn't rush into it, walks to remonstrate. And a teammate of Jamie Elliott gets in front of Motlop and just gives him a cheeky don't worry about it, mate, just leave him alone. And he doesn't really remonstrate. He just kind of, mate, you saw Sausage, Sausage at another contest comes in and just flies the flag. Mate, fly the flag. What give a bump, give a jump, a punch, whatever.
Weak. Fucking weak.
That's
We've
why I
got
reckon
weak attitude, weak leadership, weak everything in the football club, bro. Soft.
even what 10 selection this week was disgusting. I reckon there's got to be some hard calls, mate, because there's players in there that shouldn't have been playing, and those players that got dropped that shouldn't have been dropped, man. And that comes back to Voss.
Let's
At the
talk
end of the
about
day,
that.
And
that's Voss.
the match committee.
Let's talk about that, because firstly you had Chincotta. This really rustled my jimmies, man. I tell you what, Chincotta has had 2 fantastic games.
He's been solid.
Games.
Yeah.
To omit him, not manage. He's not injured. None of that. This pisses me off, man. You take him off and you put Boyd on. And did we all saw the 50-meter penalty that Boyd gave away when he bummed, who was it? Was it Ash Johnson or Bobby Hill or one of them? 5 minutes after he's marked the ball.
Yeah, bro. And it was a weak bump too, bro. It was a soft bump.
If you're gonna give, that's a 50-meter penalty every day. Instead of fucking taking his head off, right? Get suspended for it. I don't care. But if you're gonna do it
properly.
Do it properly. That's it. Hurt him properly.
While you're on that, Amal, it just goes back to those things on the ground, the leadership on the ground. Andy keeps going on about it, but same thing. Hollands gave away a 50-meter penalty, picked up the ball and threw it on the ground. Gave away 50, cost us the goal. Again, those younger players, they need to be nurtured, they need to be guided, they need to be led in the right way. But it's not happening. No one even went up to him. I think I gave him a high five.
We're so fucked.
Yeah.
I've been saying it.
Yeah, go on. I'm sorry, man.
I've been saying it throughout the week. I feel like, and it kind of rang true for me against in the West Coast game where, we started that game, a game that we should have won by. We were only predicting 40 points at the time, but we started that game quite timid. The way that we were playing, it was again down the wings, long bombs, hoping Harry or Charlie, one of them marked it, and then we'll hopefully have a set shot for goal from there. But it wasn't until we got the first goal and then the second goal where we started to go, okay, we found some of that belief.
Momentum came.
Yeah, momentum came, and then all of a sudden we started to attack the corridor. We never got that tonight. We never
We
ever
haven't
got
had
that
that
tonight.
since that game, though, Amar.
No, we haven't. We haven't. It didn't
No.
come. It came against St Kilda far too late. It came against the Lions far too late. It came against the Doggies when we were 6 goals down, and we used all of the momentum just to fight back the deficit. And then against Collingwood, it never came because I don't know why. But we are so reliant and dependent on momentum and belief and something to spark our confidence that we cannot play a style of footy that is representative of the list that we have. That I feel like we resort to this bullshit style of footy, which is panicked, rushed,
Panic football.
and always playing the high percentage safety footy brand of footy that we've been playing. I don't know if
and
anyone else
predictable.
agrees with that.
And you said it
Yeah,
before, Mo. Like
and predictable.
it's you're playing. We need it to be less predictable. Find more avenues to goal. Get different players involved. The fact of the matter is, we had 3 individual goal kickers tonight, boys. 3 goal kickers. Kerno, Mackay, and Owies kicked our goals.
Really?
Three individual goal kickers. Kerno had 3. I think Mackay had 2. Owies had 2. So our forward entries so predictable, and then like Darcy Moore would have been licking his lips for that stuff, mate. He was mopping it all up, but just need to be less predictable. All your eyes, I don't know. It was, and we can see it happening. That's what's frustrating. It's just, yeah, I don't know what to say. And I hate. So there you go.
Compared to the last few weeks, like 4 or 5 weeks that we've lost, today, just looking at the players, they didn't look happy. They didn't want to. They look like they didn't want to be there.
You know what? It looks like a burden for us, and it looks like an absolute joy for Collingwood when they play for each other in any game. It looks like a burden for us.
Yeah, 100%.
Good call.
Yep.
Half our team is on fucking 700 plus, bro.
I'll be happy too.
They're getting their paycheck. They don't give a fuck, bro. Bro, you got to remember something. These players, they didn't grow up going for Carlton, bro. Like, there's no passion for the club like we have it.
Allegedly, Zach Williams did. He said it at half time.
It's just a gig, bro. To them, it's just another gig. So as long as their paycheck gets into their account at the end of the month, they're sweet, bro. And it shows with our club. It shows they don't give a fuck what jumper they got on, bro. As long as they got a fucking paycheck coming to their account. I'm so done.
The money club, bro. Money club.
Passenger FC. I said it after round 1. I said more passengers than a Pico Mumbai train. And I also said it on after round 1 on Blue Abroad. I mentioned that. I remember mentioning, hey guys, in a few weeks' time, we're going to sit back and see where we land. And statistically speaking, we were 8-2 last year. This time last year, we're not going to be 8-2. That was after round 1. So we're not going to be that this year. We all have to hold belief and be positive. We're 4-5-1 now. Same period of time as last year. This time last year we were 8-2. So it's becoming a little bit hard to maintain and hold that belief because you think, okay, after the Saints game it might change, after the Doggies game it might change, Brisbane game. It's a fourth quarter charge that go through the middle, take some risks, kick some junk time goals. Put the foot down a little bit when teams are hanging back off us. It's almost like teams are allowing us to have a crack. You saw it in the Saints and the Brisbane game.
That's literally what Collingwood
meaningless
did, bro.
goals.
We give zero respect. They're just letting us do what we want.
Literally, because they know we're going to turn it over. They know eventually we're going to stuff it up.
Yeah.
So what
Carl said, they're not even just laughing at us; they're admitting that they're laughing at us now.
That burns me. That seriously.
Bro, we were laughing at him. We were laughing at him in that last quarter, bro. Like it's a comedy show at this point. And bro.
Andy, you said that even Triple M was laughing at us as well.
Yeah, bro. I was listening to the radio, and there was a passage of play on the wing, or I don't know, bro. We had about 58 touches in the space of about 25 meters, going back and forth, missing a target. We tried to switch it, and then we couldn't hit a target. And then eventually, bro, like they were laughing at us. They were literally saying, like, "What are they doing?" We're so far off the mark. It's like it's beyond being depressing at this point. It's comedy. It's at this point it is just pure banter, bro. We're just a laugh for everyone to just kick back and.
And there
bro,
was a
I
couple
don't
of
know.
times where we turned to each other today and absolutely died in hysterics because it's actually funny. It's like if you don't laugh, you cry, right? Like it's.
Bro, when Mackay has had the worst week of any Carlton footballer individually that I can remember, bro. Everyone was talking about his kicking, and it's not just this week. It's been about a month of it. But this week was like super magnified. He takes a mark in the first 5 minutes, has a set shot on goal, kicks a drop punt, kicks the goal, and about 2 players go up to him, give him a high five.
Represent
Bro,
someone else. That's
if
it. No one
that's
else got
your
around.
fucking brother, if that is
Get
your
around him.
fucking brother, and you're
That's right.
making all these fucking connections like Adam Shearer fucking bragged about, you fucking go up to him, you fucking make sure he knows that you're proud of him for that. Get his fucking confidence up. But nah, bro, we're just, yeah. But when one of our defenders fucks up, we're all around him.
There's no heart.
Bro,
There's
we're
no
nowhere.
heart.
We are
No heart.
fucking nowhere, bro.
A little bit of a side off topic. What's Harry Mackay's favourite card game?
Favorite card game? Oh, jeez.
I could throw a dad joke in there, sorry, boys.
That's a...
Kick him off. Kick him off.
That's what I reckon. Just
Positive for
quickly,
this
I don't know,
podcast. Too positive, sorry, boys.
did anybody catch the press conference, Rossi post game? I tend to get a hold of these and sort of try and read into it a little bit and dissect it and see exactly where his head's at and whatnot. He spoke a little bit about process and system, and obviously he does that a little bit, but he actually said that we're doing really well at contests and we're winning contests now, and that's the thing we've been focusing on, and we're actually doing that right. He harped on a little bit about that, and if this is where we're at, and this is what he takes that as a win, and we sort of focus on the next thing, I don't think I'm going to be alive to ever see Carlton make a final series.
You reckon he should cook?
After hearing that, either he has gone to the board and told them, listen, these are the holes in our game, and we're not going to win a premiership until we fix these problems. And if he's gone to the board and said, listen, I need 3 years to fix these problems, then fair enough. I'll give him 3 years to fix the problem.
Well, at the moment, we're good at contests, so and that's why he fixed the contest box.
The club's coming back to us, and they're saying, well, they were saying that, we're in our window. We're in our premiership window. Now, last week, the tune changed. And then Cripper had to come out and do damage control, whatever. But all the shit that Cripper spoke about during the week about looking each other in the eyes and calling each other out, and bro, I said to a few people this week, we are going to learn so much about this football team from this game, because the pressure has been on us so harshly this week.
Yeah.
And what did we learn? That we're weak. That we're
That's what I said before, though. We're great at selling hopes and dreams, but when it comes to the crunch, we're fucking selling potatoes. That's what we're doing.
We've regressed.
We're off the field like, oh, we're building and we're going to do this and we're going to do that. And then when the game comes...
Right, you speak about contested, and we're winning in the contest, whatnot. Like that was so. This time last year, 8-2, that was our game. We were belting teams in the contest. We were physical, we were strong, and we were, sending clearances, and we were running over the top. Remember that crazy sort of 7-8 goal patch, and then they were catching up in the third and the fourth or whatnot. But we were figured out basically this time last year.
Quick.
And then now we're saying we're winning the contest, but we're not executing basic skills. We're not executing.
On that contest part last year, when we were on top and winning the contest, it stemmed from the back line. Wiedering was the general. I'd see him up and about, calling shots, moving pieces, mismatches, changing things, doing things. I just see a different Wiedering.
Do you guys think it's between the ears for Wiedering or physical?
Was trying to get his money back.
It looks like, genuinely speaking, right? So this time last year, remember the form he was in before he got injured during the Collingwood game? Like, he was in all-Australian form. He was, and he's been like that for years. He was a general, and he made Young look so good because Young was so composed because he was as well. They knew what was going on. I don't know if it's between the ears. He doesn't look right. I don't know if he's too heavy, like below the waist. His hips or his legs are too heavy. He's lost his speed. He just doesn't look right. It doesn't. I don't get. You don't get that. You know that confidence you used to get when a veteran goes up for a ball. This guy's going to spoil it. This guy's going to chop it out. This guy's going to mark it. I haven't seen that.
Yeah, that confidence is 100% lost at the moment.
McGovern's rocked off
Him
on
and
everyone.
several other players.
What's there to be confident about? We keep talking. We keep using this confident word. We fucking choked last year. Played our best football that we've played in fucking 2 decades last year, and then bottled the fucking season. We can't kick. We can't handball. We can't mark. The board is a shit show. The Silvani name is a fucking cancer to this football club. What is there to be confident about? What have we got to be confident about, bro? We like this confidence thing. Like the AFL footballers, bro. You don't get drafted to the AFL if you don't know how to kick a ball. I mean, but you know,
Maybe
Basics.
Vossi sees that as well. And look, I'm not going to play the blame game anymore, but maybe he's realistic and he sees that and he believes that, because he got asked at one point. They said, "Vossi, you're sitting 11th now, and what do you see, or where do you see?" And he goes, "Look, I see nothing, and I expect nothing." I don't know.
Can't respond to that.
Yeah,
That's what he said.
if he's using that kind of language, if he's using that
He's
kind of
broken.
language, mate, put a fork in the season. It's done, right? Like
I
that's
highly encourage a review of that, because he got asked the question, "You're sitting 11th, what do you see?" And he goes, "I see nothing and I expect nothing." I mean, maybe we're expecting too much, and he's realistic. He's there day in, day out. He knows what the capacity is of the
that's
boys
what I
at the
mean.
moment. I don't know.
Maybe he did go to the board and say, "Listen, I need a few years. That we're not going to win a premiership. There's no point going for a tilt if we're missing A, B, and C." But if that's the case, then it's the club's responsibility to relay that fucking message to the
We need
members that are
transparency.
putting out their hard-earned money.
We need transparency.
Yeah, this is what I think, right? This is my thought on the whole situation. Players like the players that are in our list do not just come about, right? These guys have literally held a footy since they were probably 3 or 4 years old, right? They've grown up with the footy. They've been playing, club footy to national level footy to under 18s footy to Resi's footy to AFL level footy. They've made their way up the ranks, however which way they have. It's not like they've only just picked up the footy this year and don't know how to kick and don't know how to handball and don't know how to do all of the basics that are required for you to make it to AFL level footy. I said this in the group chat a little earlier. You cannot make it into the system without being a good, very, very good footballer, right? What changes between you growing up through the ranks to coming into a system like Carlton is confidence. Because you look at Stocker, right? We let Stocker go at the end of last year. He is now in St Kilda's starting 18 in their back line, and he is having a hell of a season. A hell of a season. Setterfield starts for Essendon. Setterfield starts for Essendon. Why is it that they can go into another team who are now competing for the top 8? Both Essendon and St Kilda, both Setterfield and Stocker are playing good footy at the moment. Why is it that the people that we've decided to keep on our list cannot execute the basics? It's not because they don't know how to. I can guarantee you with all of my life, they can all kick a kick. They can all execute a handball. They know where to position themselves and everything. It is a lack of confidence in the game plan, whatever the hell that is causing them to rush, to make bad decisions, to not be able to execute. Challenge me on it.
Stems further. It's a curse. It has to be Carlton. Like, you see all these players in history. I'm not going to go through every player, but I think it was Sam Jacobs went to Adelaide and All-Australian all of a sudden. Wasn't even getting the game. Wasn't even breaking into the side.
But look, even if you compare it last year to this year, the regression on a lot of players, right? So I think, like, honestly speaking, like, I reckon maybe I always love Matt. I think he's the only player I can say that's maybe taken a slight step forward or been consistent this year. Like, you're going to get from him. He's got a brain. He knows how to find space in the forward 50. Every other player, Walsh's clangers are scary this year. Hewitt's regressed. Kennedy's regressed. Cripps has regressed. Pittnett's solid in the rock, doesn't give much around the ground, but everyone's regressed and it's scary.
Yeah, it's bad.
We've got a team of Lockie O'Briens and Mitch McGoverns.
But this is what happens when you pay 6 or 7 or 8 players big money, the lower
Yes,
end of your list, which is what wins you premierships, because every team's got good players, but it's your mid to lower ranked players that win you premierships at the end of the day. When you've got no money to bring in your $400,000 players, you're stuck with players earning 150 grand.
Yeah.
And then you're dealing with the Lockie O'Briens, and that's when you're dealing with the players that come in and out constantly.
Yeah.
We're so top heavy, and
But they're not producing either, though. That's the problem.
output of the top isn't good enough at the moment.
You've got to happen and then just starting with the $1,850,000 players.
We need to make a big call this off-season. So we've got a few players signed for long-term big deals. We need to do what Collingwood did last year and just move on a few, maybe pay a couple of half salaries and hit the trade table. We have to. We just...
I can't believe we're having this combo.
But where would you even start? Like, is it the defense? Is it the midfield? Is it the forward line? Is it a combination? Which department would you want to start in first?
It's clearly, I think our main problem is ball use going inside 50.
Yeah.
agreed.
Right? I think that's our biggest problem. So either you get good and clean ball users, or you just cut your losses on the Harry and Charlie show, and you say, listen, it's not working out. We're going to be stuck with Harry McKay for 7 years. I like Harry. I think Harry's having a great season, apart from his goal kicking. But if that is going to be his ongoing role, and he can't fulfill that duty for us, then what's the point? We're just wasting 7 years and however much he's on. I'd rather pay half that for 7 years and maybe get in another player who's a bit cleaner with the ball. If we chuck him up forward, won't buckle if he's not on his left side, and not afraid to kick a drop. I don't know, bro. I'm just throwing
the clubs vocalise like the 10-year, they want these blokes playing a decade together, so I don't know if they'll go down that path, but the clean ball use is very important inside 50 because we just don't have it. I think we haven't had it for a long time. And then on-field leadership for me, like some people across, the parts of the ground that can actually lead and be vocal, and I think we're missing that. I don't see that across the team. Proven winners, proven leaders.
Yeah.
Apart from West Coast, every single team looks to be playing a better brand than us. Whether it's successful or not, they're playing a more exciting brand, a faster brand, a riskier brand, but a brand that the good teams are playing.
An identifiable brand.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
we said this last week. What is our brand? We just, there's no, like, it's a shit brand. It's like, I don't know. I'm out of ideas of what
You wouldn't even
we
buy
are.
this brand off Wish.com.
Yeah.
Seriously, you wouldn't.
If football was foreign to you and you wanted to go to a game and watch football, I would never ever recommend you to go to a Carlton game. Ever.
No.
No.
Not this year.
I as a Carlton diehard supporter, like all of us are, I would say go watch Collingwood. You'll love it.
Any other side. This week, we saw Port and Melbourne. Fantastic game. Sydney and North Melbourne. North Melbourne, mate, they made us look like rubbish.
And that's what's more scary is that the wins we've had, and I spoke with Andy about this the other night, the wins that we've had have not been convincing. So I'm not counting West Coast, right? Because you saw today, Hawthorn beat them by 116. So that win week on week now just becomes meaningless. GWS 9 goals 20, and we just scraped through. I think it was the free kick.
That was because of that ridiculous free kick.
The free kick. The thing is, the first half was very average, and then we kicked away in the third. They got 4 or 5 in a row with the fourth, and they made it the scoreline look respectable. And the Geelong one. And I think that the common themes with the Geelong, the GWS, and the Kangas one, I said to Andy the other night, is that they're all missing key backmen. So I think Davis was out for GWS, Kangas were missing Ben Mackay, Stewart for Geelong. So we had a little bit of a run on them because of, using Charlie, using Mackay, and on half of them were won on the back of talent, really, and luck. But none of those wins were convincing.
No.
Yeah,
nothing has changed for us, even game plan wise or kicking wise. And like to say, those wins, they were missing key backs. I think the only difference is where we haven't won is a key back has got in the way and just been able to read what we're going to do.
What about Sydney? Nick? What are your boys' thoughts on Friday? Very decimated as well.
I think we're gonna need about 85 interchanges to beat them. I don't know how else we're gonna beat them, boys.
On form, on Sydney's form, on our form, draw. Good draw. You heard it here first. I'm tipping a draw.
There's no way,
we get up.
Man. We're going to go to Sydney.
We get up.
We're going to go to Sydney and turn up, Carl, reckon. No hope. We got no.
Then I reckon we get up.
Look, they're missing a lot of players, and now what's his name went down. Their ruckman, Ladhams, Peter Ladhams has gone down as well.
Yeah,
but we're down 15 ruckman, bro. Pitternet's good for this. Just a tap. Then what?
I think he was okay today. Even around the ground, he did a couple of good things.
Just quickly, did anyone see Tom the Koning's kick today?
No, I didn't see it.
I heard about it.
The poor kid's still concussed. I don't even know why he got a VFL game. He can't even kick it in the right direction. He went the other way.
To the goal square.
Cost us a goal.
That's the wrong goal square.
I'm just going to say there's a cultural problem in the Carlton Football Club that nobody wants to talk about, that nobody wants to address. Wasn't there an internal investigation or something? Was that last year or the year before where they looked into the club?
Well, a lot of the same people are still there. A lot of the same people have been there and still are at the top, right? So
we're still there.
Culturally.
There's an issue with the culture, and it's resonating into the guys on the ground, and it's all the way. It goes up and down the chain of command, and something needs to change.
We Carltonise whoever comes into the club. So Brian Cook, winner, Geelong, this, that, the reputation, and the language he used a couple of weeks ago, we've Carltonised him. I don't know if that's us or he's been instructed to say that. The players, Sherritt comes from Fremantle, says that Akers, who looked in All-Australian form for Freo, comes and you can't hit a 15-metre target. We're Carltonising everyone.
Akers was Mush's favourite today.
Poor little Hannah. That number 13, mate, what's he done to it? I can never look at that top the same again.
That the word loser, I feel, is woven into the fabric of Princess Park, and it has been for the last 2 decades. It's just, we cannot seem to get away from the stench of that word. We went 8-2, and we thought, last year we went 8-2, right? Andy, you said it yourself last week. It was the best time of your life, 8-2, as far as the Carlton Footy Club is concerned. Hey, I don't blame you, man. I look back at that time and think, man, what a period to be alive. We lost the Gold Coast. Oh, man, week in, week out, it was fine. Media attention was all about Carlton, how good we are. We're going to make finals this year. And then the club realised, hold on, we're fucking losers. We shouldn't be here.
Because we drink our own bathwater as players, as supporters, as fans. We are at the best at doing that. And you said it spot on the mark. It's woven into the club that mentality and it's mediocrity and loser, and we're content with it, and that's what's sad. And too, as you said, it was like a blip, right? Like the food tastes nicer, the air's fresher, everything was so good, right? And then
Yeah. Exactly what happened after the bye last year. We were like a deer in headlights. We were like holding our little 8-2 record, and then we looked at, oh shit, where are we? And it's been that case again this year.
That's great.
All right, 1 sec. Hey, now I'm gonna say something. Right? Imagine after the bye we come out and we hit 8-2.
Fat chance.
We did it last year. We did it last year.
It's a different side. It's a different bunch of boys. There's no intent. There's no heart. There's no belief. There's not getting around each other.
I'm just
I see.
putting it out there. I'm just putting it out there. We get a week
Maybe
off.
they're listening to this. Hopefully
We
they're
kick
listening
back.
to this.
The boys get together. They have a drink. You know, they have an arg. They have a bit of a vape, and they you know, they have a chat and they say, you know what, got nothing to lose. We go out. We get 8-2. We hit finals. We finish 8th. We smash St Kilda. Then we travel. We smash Brisbane because they lost the first round. And then we smash Melbourne in the prelim. And the flaggers are up, baby.
Someone needs to hand
Is
in
only
his
showing the
meds.
top half.
I think there's THC.
One too many drinks, bro.
It's either that or he's been playing the ladder predictor far too much and it's started to get through his head a bit.
It's these dogs here, mate. These dogs, bro. They do it to us every week, man. Every week.
And drink that bathwater, Andy. Don't do it.
Speaking of bathwater, how about Myercheck giving Wiedering an absolute bath in the first quarter?
Yeah, it was
Absolutely wrecked.
it was the whole game because after halftime, Myercheck hit the baths. That's the only reason why Wiedering started to come up.
This time last year, it was a conversation: Wiedering versus Moore. Who is the better defender? And he looks so far off it right now compared to this time last year.
Yeah, that's not even the conversation anymore.
Now it's who's worse than Wiedering.
The conversation today was Kerno the better forward for Carlton or was Moore? Who was it?
More.
Yeah,
exactly.
Moore.
Exactly. Look, it was a dismal performance. Again, I feel like Carlton, the Carlton Football Club, and Carlton supporters are going around the merry-go-round. It's the same shit. It's the same style of footy. It's the same type of loss. But irrespective of that, let's try and find some positives out of what was another shit performance. Who was your best on ground, Carl?
I don't know. Dusty Moore.
Andy,
I don't
what
know.
about you?
I actually don't know.
I'd go Charlie for us. I think Charlie, what he was able to do, always having 2 or 3 players on him the whole game, and not getting a chop out from any of our smalls who are just fucking nowhere.
Yeah.
Apart from always, well done.
Pretty top.
But what Charlie was able to do, man, I like while being outnumbered the whole game was phenomenal, and he's been a real shining light for us this year.
Yeah. Yeah. Mus?
Yeah, I'm going to second Andy. I was thinking about when Carl was answering, but I had nothing. But just watching Jono and just his body movement, body language, getting around, he gets smacked week in, week out, and no one comes to give him a hand. No one goes to his feet. Nothing. If anything, they go to third man up and just come over the top of him. I think he did his part, and I think that's all she wrote.
Georgey?
I've got to say the same because it really isn't another standout. I just thought he tried his guts out. Like in every contest, at every ball, he was knackered by the end of it. He tried his guts out. I think he's the only real standout. There wasn't anyone that I can say. I think Pitner had a really good first quarter, and I thought he was maybe going to get into the game a little bit more, and didn't really. But Charlie for me was the one that looked like he was trying to win it off his own boot. He worked his guts off.
Yeah. I think for me, Charlie was the obvious standout, but just as someone a little different, I'm going to pick Mackay. He had a week from hell as far as the media was concerned. They were all on his back for his kicking and the way that he was kicking a goal. And, he kicked 2 drop punts from quite a way out tonight. So a good change from him. It was good to see, him kick some drop punts. And I'm hoping that plays into his confidence with the weeks that follow, because we do not have an easy run. We've got Sydney. And then after Sydney, we've got Melbourne. And then after Melbourne, we've got, who is it?
Essendon.
Essendon.
The skunks, the
And
dirty dogs,
honestly,
the scumbags.
Sydney are without a ruckman, so I feel like if there's ever a time to bring TDK back into the team, it's going to be against Sydney.
We will win. We will win.
And I'm hoping that does something to the playing group. Hopefully, he's the missing cog. I'm not saying that he is, but I'm clutching at straws here. I think if he is.
What's he got? I'm going to jump in here again. What's he got to ask the question about TDK? And he goes, oh, yeah, I don't know. I'll have to review it later. I didn't get much of it, but I heard he was all right. So, I don't know.
Yeah.
Something's not right culturally with the club and selection. Something funny about TDK. I personally don't think he'll play again, but I think there's more to that story.
After Sydney, we've got Melbourne, and then after Melbourne, we've got Essendon, and all three of these teams are competing for the top 8. So I think for me, it'd be good to see a 2-2 record over the next this 4-week block. We've already lost one. We can only lose one more, and I think that loss, I'm hoping, is only against Melbourne and no one else. But what's a pass mark? What's a pass mark for you guys over the next 3 weeks?
Over 3 weeks?
Yeah. So Essendon, Sydney,
I reckon
Melbourne, and Essendon.
win, loss, win.
Okay. Andy?
You reckon we'll beat the scum?
Yeah, I think tight though. Be a tight one.
What do you reckon?
Yeah,
Andy?
I reckon. Oh, I don't know, man. The way we're playing, if we get a win, sweet. But I think it's the way we play. The way we play at the moment is more important than. Again, we're not going to make finals, so we need to do something. I don't know, man.
We need to work out who we are.
Exactly. If we can find our identity in the next month, and then progress from there, sweet.
Mus, what do you think?
I think it's like Andy said, it's irrelevant what the outcome's going to be. Well, it needs to be about the purpose and the brand and what we're going to do. I mean, I just want to see the boys rock up. And before it used to be about playing 4 quarters. We don't even get a quarter anymore. So
we don't.
For me, it's just about getting out there and doing your job and beating your man. Everyone's got a job to do. And I just want to see 4 quarters of just intent and commitment to getting the ball, getting the hard ball, getting in, chopping out the team. I just want to see them play a team, solid brand of football.
Georgie?
I think non-negotiable 2 out of 3, if not 3, because we came very close last year against Melbourne. But the way I think about it is we get 2 out of the 3, we squared the ledger at 6-6-1 for the year. Going into halfway through the year, if you said that at the start of the year, you would have been like, oh, you want to take that. You want to get a couple more under your belt. But the way I think about it is if you're going into this week and if you're serious, you win on Friday. I think both of McCartans are out, Ladens is out, they're stretched, their injury list is long. You need to, and I think we were favourite a couple of hours before this game, and then they pushed out about 5 or 10 cents favourites. The Melbourne game, we have to compete. I don't think any of us expected to come as close as we did late last year with all the injuries that we had. I think it was round 21 or 22 or whatnot. Yeah. And I just do not want to lose Essendon to the scum. You can't. You just cannot let them win. So
if we lose to Essendon, I'm gonna lose my fucking mind.
Careful.
Two out of 3.
Do you think,
not Essendon, man.
Do you think if we lose to Essendon, Voss's position might be under scrutiny?
The media have prepared for it because if you remember on the Sunday Footy Show on AFL 360 on Footy Classified, they keep saying it, 6-week block, which is the Dogs game, the Brisbane game, this game, and the next 3. They keep saying let's vote, and then every week they say, oh, this is how he's going on his 6-week block. So they're going to start piling it on. It's almost like they've set it up. Here, Voss, this is your time. And so far, he's 0-3 for that 6-week run. So questions will be asked, definitely.
I think if anything, questions are already being asked of Voss and his coaching style and his game plan. And I think if we lose to Essendon, and if we lose more than just against one of the following three, it's going to be very, very hard for Voss to prove that he's still the right coach for this club.
It's going to be
Especially
about
if we get
how we lose,
Yep.
exactly.
Yeah.
And I've said it in the car earlier. I guarantee it. Watch in a couple of weeks' time, depending what happens with West Coast, there's going to start being talk. Adam Simpson might be free. Proven winner, premiership coach. It's going to happen, right? I'm not saying the appointment's going to happen. The discussion is going to happen, especially if we continue on the run what's happening now. Because there's unless you want to convince Clarko.
I think Clarko's in a bit of trouble, in a bit of heat at the moment. I think he's struggling as it is, but yeah. Anyway, let's see. Again, I think we can. There's been enough said, and I'm sure that we could talk on for hours and hours to come. But let's wrap it up there.
Before we go, I
Yeah,
just want to
yeah.
give a shout out to the best meme page on Instagram, best Carlton meme page, that funny blue, champion bloke. Follow him if you get a chance.
Yeah, make sure you do follow along. That funny blue, and for those listening, for those who have tuned in last week and are tuning in this week, don't forget to like, share, and follow. Subscribe if you're watching along on YouTube. Like us on Facebook, on Instagram. We've opened up a TikTok account as well. Would love to see, if you're enjoying the post, if you're enjoying the podcast, the episodes, and all of the footage and the content that we're putting up. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. So, thank you, Georgie. Welcome to the show, Mus and Andy. Thank you once again. Pleasure chatting with you guys, and we'll catch up again next week. And I'm hoping that it's under better circumstances. Until then, sayonara and enjoy the week. See you later, fellas.
See you, gents.
Yeah.